Warning, this podcast contains adult language, dark humor, alcohol consumption, and spooky shit. You've been warned, motherfuckers. Are you ready to get spooked?
Welcome to Coast to Ghost, the paranormal podcast that goes coast to coast, digging up the ghosts from across the nations. Pants are optional as they might get scared off. We are your coasties. I'm Sam from Indiana.
I'm Heather from Ohio.
And I'm Lindsay from Alabama.
And we have a very special guest with us tonight. You want to introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. I'm Jeremy, and I'm in Philadelphia.
Ooh, and what do you do, Jeremy?
Not much.
It checks.
I host a show
Fair
called
statement.
Podcast We Listen To and started the Facebook group Podcast We Listen To.
Massive group, awesome community, by the way. Everyone should join
Very
it.
amazing.
It's a good place to find new shows and whatnot.
Oh, and I also have Educating Jeremy. I guess I should mention
Which
that.
I really like that. I like that one.
Thank you.
What she's saying is she doesn't like podcasts we listen to. She's like, oh, I like that one.
I understand.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
So, Jeremy, you're in... Wait, so you're from...
Start over.
You're from Louisiana, though, right?
I'm from New Orleans.
Okay.
Yay.
Which
But-
is
Yay.
the state that or the city, rather, which is the city we're going to be going to tonight in this episode. So, Jeremy, would you like to kick us off?
Hopefully we
show?
get there before we're drunk.
Everything. All of
You
it.
off the show?
All of the things. Educate us.
Educate us.
Educate us, Jeremy.
Educate us.
Yes. Educate us.
So, I did a little research on Jean Lafitte. Have any of you, are you familiar with Jean Lafitte at all?
Nope.
Okay, so Jean Lafitte is pretty famous in New Orleans. He is a French pirate and privateer in the Gulf of Mexico. He was born in 1780 and died in 1823-ish.
Can you tell us how old that is? Because I've drank a few.
It's old.
We don't
Can you
math
math
here.
this for us?
No.
What would that be? Almost 200
Talk
years
about
ago?
ghost dick.
He died almost 200 years ago?
I don't care how many years ago it was. I want to know how old the man was when he died.
Oh,
Educate us.
He was around 43.
Okay. That helps. Thank you.
But Jean and his brother Pierre were pretty successful smugglers. And they were not fucking around about it. They were like, hey, dude, we're smuggling shit. And we don't give a fuck. Zero fucks to give. So by 1805, these guys were bold enough. They had a warehouse in New Orleans to distribute all their smuggled shit. They were just like, yeah, come on by. We'll give you a TV or whatever in 1805.
Man, they're revolutionary.
But
Getting shit done.
when the government passed the Embargo Act of 1807, they moved all of their operations to Barataria Island, which is off the Louisiana coast. Now, I don't know if you care about this at all, but I'll tell you anyway. The bay takes its name from the Spanish novel Don Quixote. No, crickets.
No, I'm with
No, we
you.
know what it is.
Yeah,
We're
I
just
was
intrigued. We're
waiting for the
listening.
next
I nodded yes. I was excited.
So these guys, they continued being successful and doing their pirating stuff.
Pirating?
He's like,
Is that like pirate gyrating?
Pirating,
what's
yes.
he doing? Is he looking at his cat?
So-
What's he doing?
I'm looking at my cat.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at my
I was
pussy.
making sure.
Distracting.
Getting into stuff in the
Sure.
corner over
You-
there. The
You do
pussy
you.
is very
You
distracting.
do you.
They continued being successful and doing their pirate thing until they were raided by the government. And Jean Lafitte lost almost his entire fleet to this raid. So later, the Lafittes got a pardon because they helped to defend the port of New Orleans in the War of 1812 from the British, in case you're wondering.
He laughs in case you're wondering.
I didn't know I was going to be mocked this entire show. I'm out!
You knew what you were signing up for.
Oh, welcome to Coast to Ghost.
So, I just want to put this out there. We recorded an episode for my show for the last 2 hours. And
it's been 84
4
years.
hours.
It's been 84 years.
It got a little carried away in parts, and I may have the giggles. So I'm just saying.
And he may have spilled.
I may have spilled this wonderful bourbon beer
That's
all
what
over
we do
myself.
here.
But I got to look at my notes again here. So they get their pardon for helping to defend the Port of Orleans. And then they decide, you know what? We got a pardon. Now we're going to become spies for the Spanish. And so during the Mexican War of Independence, they moved to Texas where they become spies and develop a pirate colony because they're like, no fucks are given. I'm just picturing like a nudist colony and there's all these naked pirates running around.
Just with eye patches.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like belt swords.
Eye patches and little funky hats.
No, it's a nudist colony. They just have an eye patch and that's it.
Well, they have to have their swords. They're pirates.
Their sword is between their legs. Dingle dangle.
Oh, hungry hippos.
Oh, fuck. This is going to take a while.
But they kept on pirating, which is like gyrating, but in pirate garb.
I know. Can you just fill that word with gyrating instead? Because I can follow that.
So they kept on gyrating
Pirating.
until he died
Pirating.
in around 1823. Nobody seems to be really sure exactly when he died. But on the ghostly type stuff, Lafitte's blacksmith shop sits on the corner of Bourbon and St. Philip in the French Quarter. And this building was, and I'm throwing this softball out there, this building was erected
Yeah,
in the 1770s.
That's what you
Yeah,
said.
In the 1770s.
And they were gyrating.
And they were gyrating when it was erected. It's rumored to
He
be
fits it.
where Andrew Jackson and Jean Lafitte planned their strategy for defending the Port of Orleans, or Port of New Orleans, in 1812. And today it's a bar. It's super popular. I think supposedly it's the oldest bar in the country. It's kind of crazy because if you're standing...
All of our heads tilted at the same time.
It's kind of crazy because this thing was built in 1770s. It's still, I mean, there hasn't really
Erected.
been any reconstruction or, anything like that. So if you're standing across the street, this bar is leaning like this.
If it's
Oh, bless it.
if it's been more than 4 hours, you should call a doctor.
So it's only partially erected now. It's a semi.
It's getting
I was
old.
going to say it's a
a half
semi
mast.
because it's leaning at a slight angle there. And anytime
Is it to the left or?
depends on which side you're standing on. But for me, sitting across the street from this bar, I'm just like, all you little college fuckers that are these little hipster guys chilling at a bar. No offense to the hipsters out there. I hope the bar falls on you.
That escalated quickly.
I'm just waiting for it. It's going to happen sooner or later.
All right, Lorena.
She cut. She didn't crush.
Tomato.
I'm not even getting. Have you seen the special on that? Because they show the dislocated member.
I've seen
if
the
you will.
dick.
Do they?
Oh yeah. And
The
X-rated.
cop's like, I got it.
I don't know how they found the thing
Right, it's
because it is not.
well,
Because didn't she like throw it out of the car, like into
yeah.
the?
Yeah. And then they like sewed it back on or something, and they helped him out, and then he went into porno, and I'm like, still not doing anything, bro.
I'm just, that lucky bastard. If I throw a hot dog on my floor, my dog eats that shit. He's so lucky that there wasn't some dog walking by like, oh, hey.
And it's like the size of a Vienna sausage.
Look, it has ketchup on it.
Ew.
That ain't ketchup.
Two.
Not far
That
enough.
ain't my belly button.
uh,
So rumor has it that people have seen Jean Lafitte, like a full body apparition of Jean Lafitte
gotcha.
chilling at the
Full body.
I just want to make sure I understand. So
Not
we
just
went
parts. Yeah.
from fully erected to a semi, and now we're back to a full.
Yes.
Full body. Not just the penis.
That Viagra.
Carry on.
It's better living through chemistry, right? But they have seen a full body apparition of Jean Lafitte, or a dude matching his description anyway.
Can we call him Jean Lafitte?
Yes,
sorry.
that's
Yeah,
his
we
name,
can.
Heather.
I think
Start
that's
over.
what I've been
No.
saying.
Can we call him John Lapeter?
Peter.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
I fucked that up.
Matter of
royally.
fact,
I
we can call him
apologize.
that.
Fuck off. Go ahead. Continue.
Where were you going with
You said
that?
it.
I don't. Okay.
I was trying to make it sound
Can we
like...
call him the name you've been calling him
Here.
for the last 10 minutes?
Can you call me Heather?
Can you just fuck off? How about that?
Continue.
Heather's like,
I
fuck
fucked
you
it
very
up.
much. But they also say that they've seen him in the mirror above the bar. So people are chilling at the bar. There's a mirror above the bar, and supposedly they'll see his reflection like he's standing behind them.
Oh.
What was that hand gesture? Like he's standing behind him. I saw that.
He was grabbing his beer?
No, with the other hand, he was like he's standing behind him. See, there it is.
I'm tossing my beer cap around, and I just now realize how that may look to your camera view. Anyway,
Also, my
I
eyeball.
thought we didn't kink shame on this show.
She looks with her eyes on her face.
On her face.
So there's another story. This comes from 3 dudes on a fishing boat. They're anchored off Grand Isle in the middle of the night, and they all claim that an apparition of a tall, pale dude dressed in all black.
Well hung man.
They didn't say, but I'm guessing. Supposedly, there was a tall, pale dude dressed in all black and wearing a wide brim hat, like Lafitte was known to wear, just standing on the deck of their fishing boat. And it's said that he turned around, they say anyway, that he turned around and looked at the shore of Louisiana before he just kind of vanished.
Ooh.
That's creepy.
So a disappearing pirate. That's pretty sweet.
But wait, there's more.
Yes.
So the ghostly fleet and apparition believed to be Jean Lafitte were spotted just before Hurricane Katrina. And a lot of people down there believe that if you see Lafitte, it means some bad shit's about to go down for the coast of Louisiana. And there's stories about him hiding treasure and that he's going to come back to find the treasure eventually. I don't think that's the case. There's been some archaeological digs in the area, but nobody's really turned up much of anything except for gyrating pirates.
Some say that's a treasure in itself.
Yes. She knows it.
But that's my story
I like
about
that.
Jean Lafitte.
Nice.
Jean Lafitte.
I mean, a ghost pirate, it doesn't get much cooler than that.
Right.
Right?
Except for that ghost dick.
Yeah, he's
well,
got
we are
it.
still waiting on the measurements, so the verdict is out.
All right. So the story I'm going to be covering is the Le Pavilion. A little background. It was originally built in 1866, and it was then known as the New Orleans National Theater. It was built by wealthy German and American, oh my God, what's the word for them?
Immigrants?
Immigrants. Yes.
I was going to say that, but I thought I was wrong. I'm like,
Oh, I don't know why the word just lost to me.
Man, you never know with New
So-
Orleans. It could be some kind of crazy ass word.
Right. Purpose of them building was so they could only perform German theatrical productions. They had 8 seasons between 1866 to 1878. The founders were Christian and Louis Schneider and then Herman Zuberbier. Over the years, their plays became more risky and more naughty, so to speak.
Yeah, buddy.
In 1880, it was then sold to a Philip Warlin. He was a piano and music vendor. That means he would sell music that composers had written and, of course, pianos. He closed down the actual theater itself. What?
What's wrong with him?
Thanks.
Rude.
He's cracking up. I feel like I missed something.
Did I mess something up?
No, I just thought it was funny that you're like, and pianos, I guess.
Sorry.
No, it was important. We needed to know that pianos were involved.
Yeah. He had closed down the theater, and for the most part, it was used occasionally for school commencements, church festivals, and local music recitals.
With the pianos.
Yes. On July 2nd, 1887, in a shoe store below on the very bottom level, a fire had started, and the entire building collapsed. I know.
That's probably not good.
Deep shit.
Never is.
The property sat there for a while until 1899, and it was purchased by the La Baronne Realty Company. They had planned a new hotel there called the Hotel Denisho, and it had opened in 1907. It was actually the first hotel equipped with the first hydraulic elevator, and it was the first documented basement in New Orleans.
I didn't know there were any basements in New Orleans.
I was like, how is there not any basement in New Orleans? And then I was like, well, I mean, I guess with all the flooding, it makes sense that they really don't have basements.
Well,
there.
New Orleans is below sea level. So that's why, like, the cemeteries, you see all the above ground tombs. It's because with it being below sea level, you can't bury any of the bodies because they all pop up.
I'm sweating. I'm sorry. Like, I'm getting, like, the boob sweat itches.
She's like,
I'm
sorry, just the way.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, Sam. It was the only thing I could see, but like the angle that you're at, I just saw like, yeah, I wish I had more to show you, but you get the picture.
No,
Jeremy's
for fuck's sake.
never coming back, ever.
So sorry. It was nice having you.
You cannot offend me. I'm out.
There's actually a legend surrounding the basement of the hotel. Was during the Prohibition, there was a secret passageway that politicians used to have a quick getaway when the police started raiding the hotel.
Oh, they are smart.
Right?
I thought you were going to say it was for something else, but I guess that's fine too.
Right?
I mean...
Right? Stop, I'm like crying.
Well, we haven't snorted yet, so it must not be that funny.
I don't know why it was so funny. But Heather goes, oh, it was nice having you.
Rest in peace, Jeremy.
So funny. God damn it. Okay.
You're stop happy.
Oh, God. By 1910, the hotel was drowning in debt, and they were forced to sell. In 1930, it was purchased and was renamed the Hotel de Soto. It was purchased for $600,400. Somebody look that up. How much was that today? Like,
We don't math
that.
5
here.
million, 10 million.
Yeah, we're not a math podcast. This isn't edge of fucking McCading, Jeremy. This is fucking Coast to Coast or something.
It was also said that Louis Armstrong's parents were said to have worked at the hotel. So that's pretty nifty. That's pretty cool.
Did you fact check that?
I didn't have time, bitches.
Just kidding. I didn't either.
God damn it. I can't quit laughing.
So I laughed pretty hard when I read this one part. I was like, oh shit. The reputation of the hotel started decreasing when the Times Oh my God, Jeremy, you gotta help me with this word. Picayyune.
You already knew before you even finished spelling it.
What is
It's
it?
the Times Picayune.
Picayune?
Yeah, it's the big paper in New Orleans still today.
Oh, it still is? That's so weird because when I was looking it up there, I couldn't find any recent ones. I just found like 2 articles from it.
From
Probably
Picayune,
spelled it wrong.
Mississippi. Check that.
Oh.
No shit. I went to high school in Picayune.
Did you
Mississippi.
really?
Yes, I
Holy
did.
fucking shit. Look at all these knots getting tied up.
Which, by the way, is the only town in the country, possibly in the world, named Picayune. It's named after a Spanish coin.
And it is not a big town either.
Oh.
So the fact that you were there is pretty crazy.
She's basically calling you a liar.
No, I'm calling him a hick.
Hey, goddammit.
Where's my pack?
Hey now, goddammit, shut up.
Let me tell you something.
Leave Pappy out of this.
Get off my
I
lawn.
like biscuits and mustard.
French fried taters.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
I like biscuits and mustard.
He's too good at that.
Oh, so the reputation of the hoe. Oh, no. Oh my God.
The reputation of the hoe is that she had herpetogonosyphilis.
How was
got
the
that little
reputation
stick.
of the hoe?
Oh my God, I'm wheezing.
Sam's having a heart attack on show. Get a screenshot.
What the fuck is happening? I'm like crying, laughing.
The great thing about that screenshot
Please leave that in.
is I'm just like, what's up? And everybody else is like,
Pappy's reputation of the hoe. That's the title of this fucking episode.
Oh, God. Okay.
Please stop saying that so I can actually say this shit and get through it. I'm crying.
Can't breathe.
And I said it.
that is, in fact, what she said.
Quit, you're making me wheeze.
That is also what
That's
she
your
said.
damn fault.
Oh, God.
It's too hot to be crying.
In New Orleans? Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Lindsay, stop.
Tell me about that hoe's reputation.
I wish I'm still laughing so hard.
He said,
So the reputation of the hotel started decreasing when the Times pick a what?
Picayune?
Pick a what?
pick a hoe.
Pick a what?
You.
Pick a hoe.
Picayune? Okay. Posted an article claiming that sex workers used the hotel as a home base.
Sex workers?
A hoe base? That hotel's my hoe base.
The hotel manager had contacted a newspaper and demanded a retraction, and the newspaper initially replied, "Hey, we were just reporting the news of the day."
Wow.
Reputation of the hoes.
So the manager had made threats, and
My hoe base brings all the boys to the yard.
Sorry,
damn
did any of y'all listen to like early 2000s Ludacris? Because there's that one line where he goes, "Why you think you take a hoe to a hotel?"
Lindsay dropping the fucking knowledge up in this
Watch it.
The knowledge.
Okay, sorry.
no, you're fine. I'm dead.
I'm sorry for your loss.
bitch. So were the hoes.
Well, that was the news of the day. Nice having you. Let's move on.
The manager continued making threats, and a retraction was published stating that the hotel was exceptionally clean and well managed.
Did they use a black light?
Can't confirm.
It didn't say the hose, just the hotel was exceptionally clean.
Got it.
In the 1960s, the hotel fell into disrepair, and it was sold in 1963. The now Le Pavilion Hotel went under a full restoration and opened in the 1970s and is actually still open today. From the pictures I saw, it was a pretty beautiful hotel. And I have no idea what just happened there.
And Heather.
And Jeremy dabbed.
That's what it looked like. She's like,
Sorry.
Let me clear my throat.
I mean, Jeremy, isn't the hotel pretty nice?
It is pretty. It is pretty nice. Yeah, it's one of the nicer hotels in the city.
well, that's where all the sec workers go.
All the sec workers?
Yeah.
Was that a K?
Yeah, that's
C?
that was one of Sam's
C?
early flubs.
I edited it out, and you guys are all confused now because I didn't leave
No,
it in the
you did
episode.
not
It was
edit
in
it
there
out. You
because
left
then
one of
Heather
them
goes,
in.
poor sec workers.
That's what happened. That was a true story. I was there.
So now on to the spooky ghosties.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's the whole point of this goddamn story. Not just the hose.
Ghost house.
So, not just the hose.
Ghost to Hose.
Initially, there was...
It's a new podcast.
Ghost house. Welcome to the Ghost House Show.
We're gonna get that ghost dick tonight.
God damn, I lost my train of thought.
Choo choo.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Sucka, 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 sucka. Hoo hoo.
All them hoes. So, paranormal investigation. God damn it.
Welcome to the Sam Show.
Where I fuck up every word.
The picture on my screen looks like you're hiding in that tunnel under the hotel right now.
Right?
Giggity.
They're coming.
That's what she said.
Not very often.
So, oh, goddamn. So, paranormal investigation teams have reported an estimated over 100 entities that are currently at the Le Pavilion Hotel.
It's a lot of hoes.
Busy.
There's lots of hoes. So I found a few eyewitness testimonies, and what was pretty funny is all of these were from TripAdvisor,
Found a few eyewitness testicles.
and they were all 5-star ratings.
We're all 12-year-old boys here. It's
Fuck.
fine.
It is 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right?
Truth.
Sorry.
That's why I'm going to try to do this quickly.
Sorry.
That's what he said.
Haha. So the first review I found was 5 stars, and it said, beautiful, definitely haunted. I didn't write down the full thing.
That was my
It was
review.
just pointless. It was.
Mhm.
Okay, first 5-star review on TripAdvisor. It said, beautiful, definitely haunted.
She added so many R's in that sentence.
Trip Ardverser.
God damn it, just let me get through this.
First 5-star.
It's like that meme where she's like, Ermahgerd.
Ermahgerd, we get a fish.
Ermahgerd, Trerp,
God damn it, stop
Ardverser.
it.
It's like the fucking
I'm gonna
Muppet
make a
Show.
meme with her saying that.
It's like the fucking Muppet Show. Herd, 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 herd.
I'm wheezing now. I'm wheezing.
Corner, I'm deceased.
I need an autopsy, bitch.
Sure to herd, herd, to find the start of a review.
Quit, you're gonna make me pee myself.
Pee pants. You better bring a change of pants because
Oh my
we're
god,
going to be
we
here all
have to
day,
get this
bitch.
episode, but I can't. Like, that was priceless.
Better stand.
Whew. Okay.
Oh.
My stomach hurts so bad.
Serious face.
Oh, should I be recording?
God damn it, I will punch you in the face.
Yes, please. It's preferred.
That's what she said.
Ermahgerd, let's go.
Okay.
My milkshake made out of good butter. Jesus Christ.
Your mom's gonna love this one.
She really is.
Oh my god, I can't deal. Now Jeremy's aired out his tits, too.
It's fucking hot up in here. Oh my god.
I need another shower now.
I need to. Come on, guys.
Okay.
Just let me get through this episode and then.
Okay. We're good. Let's go.
Oh, God. Okay. So the first 5-star review on TripAdvisor, motherfuckers. It says, beautiful, definitely haunted. Room 530 is definitely haunted. First of all, I just want to say that this hotel is absolutely amazing. I love the history, the decor, the staff, and just about everything about it. I even love the peanut butter jelly time. Yes, that was actually legit. Yes, that was legitimately in there.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Did it come with an explanation?
No, I thought she was going to say, I definitely love the pianos.
That being said, we stayed at Le Pavilion in December 2012
She's ignoring
for
us
my
now.
birthday and stayed in suite 530. I heard noises, TV static, and there was also TV disruption. Footsteps, strange presences. Presences? Is that right?
Presence-I.
You said footsteps. What was the second thing?
Footsteps, strange presence, and then there was a presence waking me up from sleep.
But that was a normal presence as opposed to the strange presence.
Yes. She
Ermahgerd.
woke up and she said, I woke up and I had an extremely sore neck just under my jawbone
Oh, I
from
bet
ear
you
to
did.
ear about an inch wide from where I felt somebody choking me when I was sleeping.
Okay. Wait.
Choky?
This wasn't a ghost.
No. Nope.
I see what's going on here.
This was the bellboy getting frisky.
She's like, oh, my neck hurts. Oh, it must have been a ghost.
Lindsay's face.
I speak with it, thanks.
Thanks, it's here all the time.
Oh my
Said
god.
present side.
I was trying to make it plural for her. She was struggling.
Okay.
I'm always struggling.
I was trying to drop some knowledge like you.
There was some strange presences, and then there was a kinky presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Did you see how she explained it the whole time, though? She was like Italian AF. There was static, and there was some noises,
It's a me,
and there was
Mario.
some shit on my neck. My bad.
I had to do something
My-
to stay focused, motherfucker.
Okay.
So another guest was taking a shower when somebody brushed up against her and whispered to her. She turned around and saw a shadow moving on the other side of the curtain.
I don't know what's happening. Sounds like a great shower, though.
This ghost got game.
All right.
I'm wondering what he whispered to her.
I know, she didn't say.
Milkshake brings all the boys.
No, he was like, Ermahgerd.
Our first, let's start the review.
He said,
Ermahgerd, for sure, Ermahgerd. Dang it, Boomer.
Sam's like, fuck all y'all.
oh,
motherfucker.
goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what she said.
We're going to be here all night. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yes. Another TripAdvisor review was for room 205 on December 27th, 2014. Around 2 a.m., a woman and her husband were sleeping in bed when their door swung open and caused a noise so loud that it had woken her up.
It was the bellboy. He's like, hey, why you with my woman?
The door had stopped suddenly, and the woman tried to wake up her husband, and when she was able to wake him up, they looked to the door, and it slowly started to close again.
I got nothing.
Just wait for this one. This one creeped
Was
me
it
out.
Garth Brooks again?
Probably.
Didn't he go into a hotel once?
I'm sure at some
All
point in
on
his
my
life he
roots.
has.
I was wondering if he was going to make a comeback in this episode.
He is your dad.
He kicked open the door and was like, I'm shameless. Or even better, kicked open the door and was like, I'm pantsless.
Yes.
No mas pantalones.
Oh, Lord. Now we're talking. That's my kind of show.
Hi. It is said that the 9th floor of the hotel is the most active. One night, a man had checked in and he had fallen asleep on his bed. During the night, he had woken up to see a woman sitting on the side of the bed next to him. She was
That
transparent.
hodo.
The ghost.
She was transparent, and she leaned close to him and started running her ice-cold fingers through his hair. She whispered closely to his ear, "You belong to me. I'll never let you go."
I've got a stage 5 clinger.
Abort!
She could have at least warmed up the hand a little bit, you know?
Yikes.
God damn it, I hate you guys. That's my story. Fuck you guys, move on.
But it was great.
I liked it. It was good.
I loved it.
That's what she said.
Yeah. And then she never saw him again.
All right, Heather. Let's go. Lightning round.
What?
You and me, lightning round. Go.
Oh, fuck. I can't do it with the pressure.
TikTok, bitch, TikTok.
Fuck me. Okay. Located at, get your pen and paper ready. Sam, talking to you. 514 Chartres Street?
It's Charters. Charter. It's spelled CHARTRES. It's Charter.
That's not how we spell it here, but okay.
I know. That's how we spell it in Louisiana.
Chartres Street. The New Orleans Pharmacy Museum is a popular attraction to tourists visiting New Orleans. Shake your head like you know. Go ahead.
He does. He's from there.
It's a really cool museum.
So inside, you can view all sorts of medical
Medical cocks.
Inside, you can view all sorts of medical contraptions, some looking rather medieval. Some examples include century-old medical treatments, equipment, and medications. So as soon as you walk in, like basically every story I've told so far, it takes you back as if you were in that era. So they kept like the furniture, all the tools, the shelves, like everything in there, the decorations, everything is like it was back then. So the walls are filled with like antique medicine bottles, which I think is pretty fucking cool. And they contain everything from standard aspirin to St. John's, the Conqueror's Root, and dragon's blood for voodoo practitioners who secretly stopped at the apothecary?
Apothecary.
Oh, okay, cool. I did it right. Awesome. To replenish their supplies. So, I wanted to share a quick story from someone who visited the museum. It was about 10 years ago. So I grabbed the story exactly as he typed it because I thought it was fucking great. It's hilarious. All right, so he said, the museum rotates different exhibits and can often be quite strange as to what the featured display will be. I last visited the museum about 10 years ago, and I had the honor and privilege of observing an incredible exhibit that has truly given me a whole new appreciation for women. So we're getting off to a good start here.
Getting off.
18th century gynecological tools.
That's gotta be bad.
Oh, good Lord.
You guys getting excited? Okay.
That's got to be terrifying.
It says, I've always been glad that I have not had to deal with the personal issues that women have to deal with, but after seeing the torture devices on display, I have a newly found respect for you ladies. Yes, bitch. Yeah. It's very uncomfortable. Anyway.
I don't like that metal thing getting shoved up there.
Thank you. And, you're gonna feel a little pressure. Huh. You just broke
And
me.
it's
Little
cold,
pressure.
like that
God
ghost
damn.
You
hand.
broke me. So cold. Yeah.
Like you couldn't
could've
put that in
warmed
the
it
warmer
up, right?
first? Yes.
Use some hot hands. We have that shit now.
Dude just breathes on it.
Oh, creepy. Oh, my God, no.
No.
That's so much
God, I'm
worse.
gonna
I'd rather have
vomit.
it cold.
Hold on a second.
He's the new guy
Oh,
now.
my God, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
He's like, all right, lay back. Coming in hot.
God.
Hold up, baby. Hold up, baby.
I'm gonna have nightmares. Oh, my God. Not from the ghost,
That's
but from the
warm.
perv doctor.
You're welcome. That's warm.
That's warm.
Jesus fucking Christ, this is amazing.
It's almost
right.
body temperature.
God damn it, Jerry.
Stop it.
I told you that I could take it just a little bit too far sometimes.
Nope.
It's great.
Not
I'm
far
having
enough.
a great time.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So it says a man cannot help but cringe and walk by the exhibit. A man
Can't confirm.
cannot help but cringe and walk by the exhibits with a hand inconspicuously guarding his genitals. Cold metal tables with uncomfortable stirrups were on display, as they are in every gyno office. As they hovered over large buckets to collect whatever rays of sunshine may have fell from the procedure.
I got a pocket full of sunshine.
That's a whole
fucking
new
ray of
meaning for that
sunshine.
song.
Find better verbiage
I can't ever-
for that, please.
This guy's amazing. But anyway,
I like how she does this.
I can't do that song anymore. I don't like it anymore.
Oh, two in a pink,
God.
one on the stick.
Yeah, gross.
Shocking.
Small flowers were meticulously hand painted around the edges of these buckets, which is fucking weird as fuck.
As to the added detail.
As to mask welcome. As to
Just
mask
to make
the
you feel
intensity
more at home, but
of the moment. Laid out on a metal tray were even more gruesome instruments, most of which were used to poke, prod, cut, hook, scoop, expand, or any combination thereof.
Scoop?
just the word scoop right there.
I didn't
and
like it.
expand should be eliminated.
Are those your guys' trigger
Scoop and
words?
expand.
Triggered.
Oh yeah. Disclaimer. You might get triggered. Okay.
It's just the word scoop in a gynecological sense is...
Yeah, I think somebody's dead upstairs.
We'll talk about them in the next episode.
Yeah. One memorable set of devices will stay etched in my mind forever. In a small wooden box were various sizes of black rubber objects said to be a kit to cure women from constipation.
Dildos?
Lindsay's fucking face.
How would that help with constipation?
I swear to Christ, the best part of this...
Take it all out!
The best part of this podcast is Lindsay's fucking facial expressions, and nobody can see that shit. It's got to be worth the Patreon just to see the fucking facial expressions.
It definitely is. These objects ranged from the size of a grape to the granddaddy wall climber that looked like a softball.
What?
This guy.
How do you know what size my granddaddy is?
And why are we climbing walls like the Legion?
Because the walls of your vagina?
You know.
Did you write this?
Yes. Yes, I did.
The granddaddy wall climber.
The granddaddy wall climber that looked like a softball. Okay.
That's just too descriptive, really.
So then he says, let's be frank here, as these items were simply butt plugs that a curious individual may come across while glancing in an adult sex shop. Well, at least I've been told so. Yeah, right, bro. Yeah, right, bro.
At least I've been told. That's spoken like
As
a
he
man
hides
of some
his like
experience.
frequent punch card.
He's like, I'd like the 3-inch one, please. Do I get the 4-inch for free?
After 10 punches.
Only, yeah, I was going to say only after 10 punches.
Butt punches. Okay. The objects basically stretched the tunnel in question until the woman basically had no need to strain. Sam, you want to elaborate?
I got nothing.
As I type, I can't help but shake my head at my own bluntness, but after working over 18 years in a prison, this is about as sugar-coated as you'll get from me. Surprisingly more memorable than the objects were the actual how-to instructions that came with the kit.
Oh no.
Oh,
Only
good
in the-
Lord.
Only in the 18th and 19th centuries were people civilized enough to even make the insertion of large rubber objects into one's rectum sound like a bit of a poetic prose from Edgar Allan Poe himself. Quote, "The patient, no more." Yeah, this
They call
guy,
that one the Annihilator.
Okay, but what did they say though?
I don't know. He didn't share that. He wants you to visit. So for years, people have been reporting having paranormal activity inside the pharmacy museum. So is it haunted or are they just fucking crazy? Whatever. I don't know. But we'll get into that in a minute. So back in the day, traveling salesmen from all over the world would travel town to town, like, in hopes of like peddling the latest magic cure-all, basically telling people like, hey, this will solve all your problems. Are you feeling this way? Take this for this ailment. Kind of like snake oil salesmen, people like that try to con you, you know? Babies with toothaches were given either alcohol or cocaine. I mean, there was no in between. It was just, you know, this end of the spectrum or that one.
Did they not do that anymore?
Oh, whoops.
Not with the cocaine.
No, it's whiskey.
Shit.
Listen to this one, though. Heroin tablets were given to relieve asthma.
For asthma?
Asthma.
I
So
have asthma.
when I think about it, that's probably why.
Lindsay's like, I need some hair on.
Well, hold on now. My neighbor's been cheating.
That's why we have such an epidemic in the Midwest, though, right? I mean, like, none of us can breathe from all the pollen and shit. I've been sneezing all night, so, like, heroin's the answer, right?
That's what I understand.
That's what I'm gathering.
I thought it was cocaine, but I guess I'm taking the wrong drug.
Toothaches. God, keep up.
You fucked
Get
up.
your narcotics right.
I know.
God, dumb bitch.
This is why I can't do drugs.
Drugs are bad unless you know how to use them.
Okay.
Arsenic and...
Bad. Okay.
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 Arsenic and...
Don't. I just got over it.
I can't. I was halfway through. Let me just finish.
I finally moved on, goddammit.
Oh, shoot.
Arsenic and mercury were used to treat syphilis.
Okay, so, like, they just killed off all the syphilis patients. They're like...
Yeah, so before the introduction of penicillin in the 1940s. So little did the doctors of this era know the damage that they were really causing by killing their patients. Other procedures proved to be downright torturous, such as lobotomies, and electroshock therapy for the insane, thoracoplasties for people with tuberculosis. I don't think I'm saying that word right because I'm not a doctor, but you get it. Which was the process of removing several of the patient's ribs to allow the lungs to take in more air.
Oh, man.
They did that in Waverly.
Yes, they did. That's where I learned about it. I got some knowledge down there.
But not how to pronounce it.
No. My computer went sleepy.
I was trying not to laugh because when she was saying electroshock therapy, at first she said electrosock therapy. Thinking of, like, neon socks.
Those are the best.
Oh, you throw me under the goddamn bus, but you give her a free pass.
No, I caught myself. I was
she's
just
got to
hoping.
get up in like 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, God, I still have to do laundry. Okay. So, the history of the Pharmacy Museum. Louis DeFillo Jr. was born in 1788 in Mirande, France. He was the son of Jean DeFillo and Jeannie Marie Bonnet, who moved the family to New Orleans sometimes, not all the time.
On occasion.
On occasion, they would just move there. But sometime between 1800 and 1803. Louis also had an older brother whose name was... Can you guess?
Clark?
No, it was also Louis.
Wait.
They named both of their kids Louis.
We really
It's
like
like George
it, okay?
Foreman.
Ouch, hot. It's my charger. It was hot.
You know, you don't have to charge it. You could just buy more batteries.
It's for my phone, sir.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, for her phone? Oh.
I got it.
So, the older Louis and Jean opened a pharmacy at 12 Toulouse Street.
Toulouse.
Motherfuckers. Fuck you both. Toulouse Street. And census records show that the family also lived here in 1805. In 1816, Louis Jr., the youngest, graduated from the College of Pharmacy in Paris, France. Upon his return, the two brothers started their own pharmacy at 63 Chartres Street until the younger Louis started his own pharmacy at the present-day location of the Pharmacy Museum in 1823. The younger Louis went on to become America's first licensed pharmacist. Oh. Pretty dope.
Interesting.
In 1804, Louisiana became the first state with a law requiring anyone wanting to become a pharmacist to pass a 3-hour oral examination. Physicians. Yeah. By physicians and pharmacists. The law, which Governor William C.C. Claiborne had backed, eliminated the slipshod previous system. I guess that's a fancy word down there. I don't know. Which was unregulated, letting anyone mix and dispense medications after a 6-month apprenticeship, and which consequently led to frequent mistakes when it came to prescribing and dispensing drugs, hence all the dead people. So, now, the practice of pharmacy today is highly regulated. Instead of the 6-month apprenticeships that were common, anyone who aspires to become a pharmacist must complete a 4-year program, which we all know all this bullshit. But Louis DeFillo married Emmy Adele Besnell in 1819, and they had 7 children together, although only 4 of them lived past childhood. So, Louis had a son named Louis, who was born and died.
Who born?
I'm Louis. This is my other brother, Louis. And my other brother, Louis.
My dad,
over
Lewis,
it.
and my uncle, Lewis. Yeah. Pick a new name already. So Lewis was born and died in 1820.
That sums up life.
He did.
It's
Delphine.
the circle of life. Sorry.
Oh my God. Delphine died in 1824 as a child. Amélie went on to marry Pierre Rousset. I guess that's important. Josephine went on to marry Adolphe Gilles. Guess that's important. Adele
She thought it was.
went on to marry Leopold Jeanette Remus. Jules died in 1832 as a child. Alfred born in 1833 and married Corin Taylor. I guess these are all important people. So, the family lived in this location until 1855, and at that time they sold it to, oh my God, I almost said Felicia, but it's not. It's Felicitas. Felicitas Dupas and her husband.
Bye, Felicia.
Right?
Sorry.
What?
Bye, Pappy.
Bye, Pappy. Did you say Dubois?
No, I said Dupas.
Oh, Dupas. Okay.
Yeah. So they sold it to Felicitas Dupas and her husband, Dr. Joseph Dupas, for $18,000. Dr. Dupas lived in the home until his death in 1867 from?
Syphilis?
Yes. We brought it back, folks. We brought it back.
She about said no, and I'm like, what?
It's syphilis. It's the syph.
It's always the syphilis.
Was he given arsenic as well?
No, he died.
Well, yeah, because they gave their syphilis patients arsenic. That's probably how it
But
was.
they probably gave him heroin.
What?
Heroin.
What?
What?
So,
Turn your ears up, Lindsay.
oh God, fuck. You have two of them. They're on your head. So
On your
Yeah,
face.
but she's talking with her head.
That's what I talk with. I know.
It's hard to listen and talk with the same thing.
I know. Fuck. Okay, so the hauntings of the Pharmacy Museum. One of the ghosts of the Pharmacy Museum is said to be Dr. Dupas. According to local legend, Dupas imposed shocking experiments on pregnant slaves. So they weren't just pregnant ladies, they were pregnant slaves, probably the hoes, and other people who stated that he performed voodoo rites with the property itself as well. In the pharmacy, he would do these voodoo rites and he would do these weird experimentations on these pregnant slaves. So today it's said that his ghost haunts the pharmacy after it closes, though. His ghost is seen wearing a brown suit and most oftentimes a matching brown top hat because he has to be fancy. His ghost appears to be a man in his mid-60s. He is said to be short and stocky with a mustache. He is fucking classy, and also he looks like the Monopoly guy.
Or the penguin.
I mean, he has a top hat, though, and a mustache.
Or
Penguin had a
Mr.
top
Peanut.
hat.
Yeah, it's probably Mr. Peanut. His spirit is responsible for throwing books, moving items that are on display in the museum, and triggering the alarm system in the dead of the night.
Dun, dun, dun.
A paranormal team who spent time here said that the pregnant women in the presence of this evil entity are very susceptible to empathetic, I need my glasses.
Empathad?
Empathetic physical
Can you
reactions.
spell that for me?
No. They have not been able to verify that part of the story about Dr. Dupas using slaves, but it's, I guess, folklore around there, so everybody believes it. Keep in mind, many of the New Orleans ghost stories you hear that are being told by these ghost companies are not verified, but every single one of them are presented as fact. So it might not really be like a haunted fucking place, so we might have just fucking botched this episode.
It is a cool place, though.
So funny little story about the Ghost City Tours group, though. When they visited the pharmacy museum, the kid working the front desk looked really bored, so they jokingly went up to him and asked him if he knows of any ghosts in the building. They didn't tell him that they owned a ghost tour company in New Orleans and simply played the part of a tourist. He repeated the story, mentioned the one that I just told you guys, but also mentioned that 2 children have been seen inside the building and out in the courtyard behind the building. So naturally, they ask him if he knew if they were boys or girls, and he says, as far as he knows, it's 1 boy, 1 girl. And if you look at the dates above for Louis DeFillo's children, both Delphi and Remus, would have died during the time the DeFillo family lived in that location. So it could explain the boy and the girl that they see. So you guys should just go and visit. They have a killer and thriller tour and an adults only guest tour.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we should go.
Bow, chicka, bow, wow.
And then they'll tell you, like, the stuff that they don't tell the groups with the kids or whatever about the hauntings that happen there. So I kind of want to know more.
And the dildos.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's more, like, based around, like, that type of stuff that went on there, like, with the pregnant slaves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
We'll go next year.
every site that I found, though, just mentioned those things, but then, like, at the end of every site, it said, hey, if you want the adult-only tour, you have to contact us. Like, we can't tell you what we include in that tour online or anything. So, like, you guys are really pulling me in. I want to go.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's interesting they wouldn't even tell you what they include
Yeah.
in it online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet you it's the same shit. They just charge more.
They serve you drinks.
They give you a free butt plug.
And some interesting instructions.
And a
on how
t-shirt
to
that
use
says,
it.
thank you for coming.
CUMMING.
Okay.
Real quick, there is a gas station and a chain of gas stations in Wyoming. And I guess the surrounding area. It's called the Come and Go.
Fuck yes.
And it's spelled K-U-M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can. KAN.
All right.
God damn it, Heather.
So, I guess it's my turn. So, do you guys, around Halloween time, do y'all ever go to haunted houses?
Yeah.
I said that at the top of the hour. Hold
Excuse
on.
the hell out of me.
Yes. Every Halloween.
So, do you actually get scared in them?
Oh, yeah.
No. Oh, yeah. Only one time. You want to know when? When the creepy motherfuckers come crawling at you and you don't see them. That's the only thing that terrifies
Okay,
me.
so because I'm kind of like you, Heather, they don't really scare me. They're fun
No.
and I laugh, but they don't really scare me.
Yeah.
But I think it would scare me if I knew that the haunted house was actually in a haunted house.
Ooh.
So
I don't think so because I've lived in
listen,
haunted
bitch, you're
houses.
killing the mood.
Sorry. That is terrifying.
That's what he said.
This is the story of what's called the haunted mortuary. Jesus, this is the story
The haunted
of
Jesus?
what's called the.
You're
Oh,
Jesus.
demoted Jesus.
Okay.
Cheese and crackers.
This is the story of what's called the haunted mortuary. Mortuary. Why can I not say that word? Mortuary.
We're keeping this in just so you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Here to pretty.
She's doing all the R's
The
again.
haunted mortuary.
Look
Look on Trerp.
Ermahgerd, it's a mortuary.
All right, so y'all get what
And
I'm
the
trying to say.
furniture.
Moving on.
It's a furniture.
So, this mortuary was a grand Victorian mansion located in New Orleans, and it was built in 1872. It was built by Mary Slattery and her husband, and it was intended to be a family home that would pass down to generations and just kind of be like the family homestead. Well, it ended up passing through several owners that were not within the family. Just some of them decided to sell it, and
Fucking assholes.
I know. So through the years, it ended up in the hands.
In the hand.
You saw
In
that too.
hand.
In the hand. Two in the bush.
So it ended up in the hands of PJ McMahon, and he wanted to turn it into a grand funeral home. There was a cemetery located right next door to it, and in fact, some of the property overlapped. So the home was on like a little piece of the cemetery property. And so he thought it would be really cool to turn it into kind of like this modern day, at least in that time, funeral home and do something that people had never done before. And you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. But
Yeah, pictures?
no, you'll hear.
Oh.
With your face that has ears.
But when you go out on the lawn, you can see tombstones just as far as you can see. And the tombstones are like the ones that
Can you hear them?
they're the ones that like come out of the ground. Like they're little statues and stuff. They're not just little headstones. They're actually like the big statues.
Erect.
So in 1930, it became a funeral home. And
She's done with me.
She's like, it's fucking 1.
Yeah, Heather, shut your
40
face.
in the morning. I'm powering through this shit.
You're doing this to yourself, bitch.
You're the one who has to get up early. She's like, you're right.
She's like, I didn't think this through.
So in 1930, it officially became a funeral home, and it was considered basically an architectural wonder. They had designed an elevator that had a rear garage behind it so that they could move the dead bodies in and out without causing a scene. What the fuck are you laughing at?
Oh my god. No, this whole rear thing. Oh my god.
Moving shit in and out of the rear.
I mean, you gotta go through the rear.
Ew, it's an exit only.
And basically, it was considered upscale. They had smoking rooms, they had private bedrooms, apartments, maid service, they had cooks, dining rooms. So basically, if a family was grieving...
I'm just thinking, who the fuck wants to have a bedroom in the goddamn funeral home?
Right?
Well, that's what I thought too. But if the family's grieving and they're out of town or whatever, they could come in and have a place to stay.
Aww,
Nope.
That's
So.
cute.
Nope.
Yeah. And it was supposed to kind of mimic the comforts of home and kind of be like a soothing place while they were grieving.
With all the dead people
But-
around.
Well,
Nothing
and
strange here.
God damn it.
on
Hey,
the
Grandma
flip side,
died. I know we're coming in from out of town, but we're going to stay at the funeral home.
yeah. But on the flip side, as nice as it was, there was also an autopsy room, an embalming room, a crematorium, cold storage for the bodies, casket sales and storage, and they even had a flower shop.
And that is why you don't stay in there.
Exactly.
Was there a 5-star review?
On Ardverser, you can book it.
Did they accidentally put the steak in with the cold storage?
I hope not.
Ugh.
But it was really successful. They had over 20,000 funerals there. But in 1985, they merged with like a bigger funeral home corporation.
They
and
merged with
after
a
that-
life insurance company.
I was just hearing you say they merged.
Merged.
They merged.
Oh my god, they merged!
Oh, God damn it.
I'm
where
so
was I?
sorry.
In the
They
merge.
merged.
Oh, yes, they merged. And the property was sold after that. And they kind of did away with all of the fancy stuff on the inside. So in 2007, a man named
With
Jeff
the scooper.
Bourne- What?
The granddaddy scooper.
They scooped out all the fancy stuff.
Did I say that?
No, you said they did away with all the fancy stuff on the inside. I said with the scooper.
Oh, God. Okay, so in 2007, a man named Jeff Bourne wanted to buy it because he owned an audio and video company, and he wanted to turn it into a haunted house, which he did. So they come in, they gut the inside, they redo everything. It doesn't look old anymore. It looks very modern. And there was a team, a paranormal team from LA that heard about it, and they were like, it's a mortuary. We want to come in. So they come in, and they ended up finding a lot. And when they get there, the owner says, well, yeah, there's actually quite a history of ghosts here. So one of the ghosts that has been seen throughout the years is a woman in white who lays on the ground of the top floor crying. And it's thought that she's there grieving for her husband.
Aww.
Like he was not a patient, not a client. Like he was
A customer.
customer. That sounds awful.
He was a deceased person that went there.
There you go. They took care of him there. And there's also a well-dressed caretaker, and he kind of roams the cemetery, but he only comes out when people are disrespecting it. So if people go out there and have seances or try to, just do things that aren't respectful, he'll show up. There are also a boy and girl child in this story, like Heather's, and they run around playing games and pulling pranks on people.
What are their names?
Like,
I don't know.
I thought you meant like Heather's kids.
Oh, no, I don't have those.
Oh, no, like the kids in her story. And then
He's like those fucking assholes, just like Heather's kids.
they're the worst.
Fucking dicks.
And then the creepiest one is there is the ghost of a former mortician, and he actually hangs out in the basement in the autopsy room, and he it looks like he would be working on a body, except there's no body there.
Nobody there. Haha. Giggity.
He's just trying to make sure he's fresh on his skills.
Yeah, he's keeping up with the times. So
Yeah.
there have also been lots of footsteps, whispers, furniture flying across the room in front of guests. Like they said, a dresser just flew across the room for all to see.
That can get dangerous, guys. You could have another customer after that.
And then several guests have been poked and pushed by random forces when they're by themselves. And
Ghost dick.
This kills me.
Fully erect.
There were also moving statues. Sam, what does that make you think of?
Oh, Weeping Angels, bitches.
Harry Potter?
Yes, ma'am. Weeping angels.
Nice try, Heather. B for effort.
It's always Harry Potter.
No, it's not Harry Potter. It's Doctor
Or
Who.
Game of Thrones. Or Supernatural. Okay,
It was Doctor
I
Who
guess
this
it's not.
time.
I've got a weeping angel sitting right behind me.
Yeah. And
She has
I have a little
Jeff
Popkin
the
Weeping
owner.
Angel. It's probably the same one that I have. Is it the one with the creepy face? Yes, that's the one
There's
that I
the Weeping
have.
Angel. There it is. Yeah. And then there was one worker who was there was like a theater room upstairs, and he went in there and like a fool, he called out for Sarah, which is the name of one of the ghosts, and he felt something grab his wrist and kind of pull his arm, but he was the only one in there, and after that, he just completely bolted. But Jeff, the owner, said the mortuary is haunted. What?
Haunted.
Oh, he said.
Haunted, Ermahgerd, haunted.
So Jeff, the owner, said that the mortuary is a haunted house inside of a real haunted house. We're probably in the middle of a million graves within a square mile radius of this building, starting within inches away from the building. So,
Hauntception.
yeah. And now it is a haunted house in the fall. And it also does escape rooms. They don't do ghost tours anymore, but they used to. But the escape rooms are actually really popular right now. And that is the story of the haunted mortuary.
I love that she didn't even give it a break. She's like, and then there's no more ghost tours anymore. And that is the haunted mortuary.
But that's all I got. That's where my notes ended. What more do you want from me?
I don't know. Sam's in her own world.
No, I got distracted because it said somebody called Zach Baggins was following us on Instagram, but I'm like, no, it's a fake one.
It's fake. Fake news.
Yeah.
Wrong.
But that was a very good story. I liked it.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. I want to go there.
I do too. I've always wanted to go to New Orleans.
It's awesome. When I lived in Mississippi, we used to go down all the time, and especially for Mardi Gras and stuff.
I have friends down there. They said I could stay with them.
I'm going to come with you.
We should all go.
So you ready for this? The building is Charity Hospital. Okay, it was started in 1736, and in 2015, give you some backstory here. I got a bunch of notes for it, but I'll give you the quick rundown. It was started in 1736, and it burned in 1809. So they rebuilt, and it's got a lot of history of people dying in this hotel. I mean, in 1858, they had the yellow fever epidemic. They admitted 2,727 patients. 1,832
Wow.
died. In 1939, they had kept building buildings and then running out of space and building buildings and running out of space. They built a total of 6. At one point, it was the second largest hospital in the U.S. It had 2,700 beds in it. And at one point, it was the second highest ranked level 1 trauma center in the nation. Katrina hit, and you can't really tell in this picture that I sent you, but the bottom 2 or 3 floors were flooded out, and some people made it out, some people didn't. I mean, it's fucking creepy because it hasn't been used since Katrina, but they haven't really done anything with it. So there's still like beds and wheelchairs and abandoned hallways.
What's the place called again?
Charity Hospital.
Charity Hospital.
And it hasn't had any electricity since Katrina hit.
But somebody's fucking watching YouTube.
But in 2015, a lady was walking from where she had parked in the parking garage across the street from it, and she looked over and she saw a Christmas tree.
Is that what that is?
That's a little Christmas tree up on like the top, 3 floors down from the top. And this thing's like 15, 20 stories high. And it blew the fuck up. She posted it on social media and it just went crazy. And there are a bunch of stories of the place being haunted even before they shut it down. But they had announced before the Christmas tree, they had announced that it would never be reopened because the renovations on it would have been just astronomically high. Clearly, from looking at this picture, it's creepy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a big deal that the university, because it's part of a university property, they sent university police in, poor bastards, to go and investigate.
And they all died.
They were never seen again.
Nuh-uh.
No.
I was kidding.
No, but they did go in there and they looked all around and
they lost their dicks.
They ended up finding that somebody had snuck in a little Christmas tree with...
They're just trying to keep the spirit alive.
With a generator all the way up to the fucking 15th floor.
To creep people out. It worked.
Well, it was in December of
it was
2015.
Fucking Christmas time.
So it would have been
jolly.
When I first heard about this, like a lot of people, I was like, what the actual fuck? There's like a little ghost celebrating little ghost Christmas up in this bitch.
Oh,
that's sweet though.
That's cute.
I did a ghost story episode with Dita on Twisted Philly, and I went through this story, and she was freaking out. She's like, no fucking way. And I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you, this is the story. No fucking way. And I'm like, no, it turns out it's all a hoax. She's like, you motherfucker. Anyway, I thought you guys would like to see that.
I liked it.
Yeah, that one was creepy.
All right. Thanks for coming to our Dead Talk. Time to sober up and put your pants back on. Join us next time as we might be digging up the ghosts from your neck of the woods. Stay spooky, everyone.
Hey, this is Aaron from Devil We Know, a single host narrative, true crime podcast that gives you stories about the devils in your communities. I will give you insight on the criminals and the victims, all while telling you a detailed story. All you need to do is search for Devil We Know podcast on all platforms and hit subscribe. We do have a little fun on the show. We will listen to some bands and musicians, and I'll even give shout outs to all my loyal heathens out there, like Charity from South Dakota. Thank you for listening to Devil We Know.